Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mark, and this is the O2 Drop. This is the best VGC podcast in the world. And to prove it, we've got some of the best players on the world. But before I introduce you to him, we've also got Ethan and Dan. How are you going, guys?
Fuck you.
All right, now that I've got you two out of the way, this man needs no introduction, but it's fun, so I'm going to do one. He won the Melbourne Regional Championships in 2024. That's cool as shit. Please welcome Kiran Singh.
Hello, hello.
So, Kiran, you just got back from Hawaii from the World Championships.
I did.
Did you win?
Not quite.
Damn. All right, thanks for joining us. So I mean, huge props. I think I speak for everyone here. I mean, I can ask, you've all got microphones, but I think it's a massive achievement to even get there in the first place. And you managed to go 5 wins, 3 losses, which against some of the best players in the world is pretty fucking huge. But we'll get to that in a sec. Ethan, Dan, do you guys have thoughts on that?
He wants to hear from us now, Ethan.
Oh. Does he?
No, not really. Anyway.
Nah, big props, definitely. First Worlds to make it. You were on like a hot streak as well from your regionals. The players you were up against, like we're all watching, looking at
That stream
RK9.
match was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Actually,
that
it was a hard schedule, even for Worlds.
Oh, yeah, man.
I looked at some people in day 2 schedule and I was like,
Well, I mean, yeah, like Dan said, we were all following along on RK9 and we're just like, holy shit, you know, Kieran's up against Costa or whoever, like your list was stacked. But we'll obviously talk about that. But first, before Worlds, like when you're obviously prepping, and because you've been to big tournaments, you've been to internationals and regionals and all that kind of thing, do you feel different when you're prepping for Worlds at all? Like, is your process any different, or do you just basically do the same thing?
it was the same process, definitely, but probably a little bit more intensive on, you know, caring a bit more, putting a little bit more effort in, more energy in overall. But as far as like the process goes, I followed the exact same process.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough. I assume that involves just like a shit ton of practice.
Yes, a lot of practice.
How much on average do you think you were training each day?
Well, that's tough. So like it depends, because like I'd have like hard training and soft training. Like soft training is like I'm watching a lecture at uni and I'm just playing I'm playing Showdown. And then hard training is like I've actually, you know, set this time to like practice.
Yeah, you got the spreadsheet help you doing. Yeah.
Exactly. Overall, yeah, I mean, I spent most of my like if I wasn't working or doing uni or like with friends, then I was playing Pokemon.
Yeah. So just basically any spare time you had.
Any spare time.
Shit. That's why I'm not at Worlds. It's like I play 2 games on Showdown, I get bored and do something else.
Like, yep, this team's the one.
Yeah, no dedication at all. So I mean, we were talking about this before we started recording, but it seems like a lot of high-level players were having a lot of team panic. The meta was super fluctuating in Reg G. Did you find you had much of that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I usually I'm like a guy who likes to just find a team and stick to it to the format, and just like, even if it's not the best team at all points in times, like I'm confident that I know like what to do into every matchup to like give myself the best chance to win.
Yeah.
And like I tried, like it was, I mean, when did Reg G start? Like it was pretty long, right?
Fairly.
It was like 4 months.
Not that long after Perth, I think.
Yeah.
I think Perth was like the last Reg F format.
That was April, so yeah.
Yeah.
So like 4 months.
May, June, July, August, yeah.
And like, yeah, I only like found my Worlds team like 10 days before Worlds. So
So he's not on mic at the moment, but Joel just choked on his drink when you said that. Sitting in the corner there. Yeah, I mean, that sounded pretty common. I don't know if you chatted with many other people while you were there or anyone else you knew who was going. Does that seem like it was pretty common that people were finding their teams towards the very end?
Yeah, kind of mixed bag. I think like more than usual, but there was like plenty of people that I know were using the same team for like ages.
Yeah, fair enough.
But there were heaps of people who like found their team pretty last minute.
On a related note, I do have a question.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, like watching the world stream after whatever the other tournament was, it felt like there were a lot of very, very interesting and strange meta changes that just seemed to come out of nowhere. You had your Terra Stella on Urshifu, you had your low kick on Iron Hands, you had like Terra Frame Rhydon coming back out of nowhere. Were you kind of like around a lot of those meta changes as you were building?
Yeah, like I was, and that's what made it hard to stick to a team. Like I noticed like the shifts. Yeah,
a
lot of low kicks, a lot of. I saw
we'll talk about low kick in a second. Yeah,
the treads showing up on the Rhydon.
That was wild. Yeah,
going back to Instant on Rhydon, which was really annoying for me. As well as a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So where did those shifts really come from? Like I said, I didn't really.
It's the secret elite player showdown.
I was going to say, this is just like stuff you see on Top 200 Showdown? Or are there like these coming out of events?
Yeah. Well, like, I guess like Showdown is often a function of like what's happening in events.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, like noticeably like from like, Showdown.
Okay.
Showdown changes. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it were me where I sit on Showdown, I'll just be rocking up prepared for Terrified Hisuian Desidui. Yeah, I mean, so in terms of prep, obviously you've talked about, your hard training and soft training. Is there anything else you do to prepare for a tournament like this?
What is medium training?
That's where he plays it as people like you, Dan.
How dare you?
Have you ever watched Game of Thrones? There's a scene where the mountain's training and he's just like killing slaves.
Yeah, that's locals to Kiran.
What was the question?
Do you find you get any practice at all from beating Dan? The question was, do you have anything else you do to prepare for tournaments, especially Worlds?
I have like a group of a few people that I'm like building a team with working on a team with. And it's pretty much just like getting like volume and then practicing specific matchups once you have the team. Scrimming matchups, flowcharting matchups, which I didn't like honestly start doing too close to Worlds because I didn't have the team. But that's kind of my process. I'm starting to realize though that like volume of games like a lot of the time is just like hurting more than benefiting me. Like recently,
yeah. There would be a bell curve on that.
Yeah. Like at some point you're getting
returns,
like negative returns.
Yeah, I think
tilt queuing.
That becomes pretty common for a lot of players that I know of, and I'd say myself included as well. And so we always say stay off Showdown 24, 48 hours before any tournament. But that kind of like, last minute team crisis or like you said, tilt queuing and just kind of like being not in the right headspace, losing a bunch, losing confidence in your team. Because I mean, I personally find that how much confidence I have affects my play a shit ton.
Oh yeah.
Like if I feel confident or I don't feel confident, that really impacts how much I win.
100%.
Could have the best team in the world.
Yeah. So when would you like play your last practice game? Do you leave yourself a gap between practicing and competing?
Yeah, I try not to play like ladder too close to the tournament. So I think like I left for Hawaii on what day? Like
you went on Wednesday
or Wednesday or Thursday? I'm trying to remember.
Midweek. Yeah.
Anyway, and I landed in Hawaii at 8 a.m. on Wednesday Hawaii time.
Yeah.
And I didn't play any Showdown from there, but I did practice some like matchups with like the people. Who
Yeah.
But I didn't do like any ladder.
Friendly scrims practicing, but no ladder.
No ladder.
I think that's probably a good shout. Because I think it just kills you mental.
No, it can like even if like the benefit that you get in confidence from winning does not like outweigh the loss that you take from losing.
Yeah.
Like,
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so in terms of like going to Hawaii, is this the first Worlds you've ever been at? Did you ever play in seniors?
No, this is the first Worlds. Yeah.
What's it like going, like in terms of like flying over, being there for Worlds, and then actually like walking into the event? What's the feeling like?
Yeah, it's very exciting for sure. Yeah, like I definitely enjoyed the like days lead up to Worlds probably a bit more than the days after Worlds. There's
for a
just
second
that.
I thought you were going to say I enjoyed the days leading up to Worlds a bit too much. You just wrapped up hungover from too much alcohol, drunk out of a coconut. That makes sense. Yeah.
Just from like, you know, just like the excitement, and
The hype.
stuff and the hype, and
Yeah.
you know. But no, it's very exciting. It's very good experience.
Sweet, yeah. Do you find that like when you walk into the actual arena, do you find the vibes are different to your standard like garden variety regionals?
Definitely to regionals, but like I went to EUIC this year.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't know there's not like that much difference.
Okay.
There was an opening ceremony which was cool.
Yeah,
that kind of set the tone a bit, and I mean there's definitely just like a more like greater feeling of like nerves and excitement and whatever emotion that the game causes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like if that were me and I was there, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is like my surroundings in terms of like whether or not there's decorations on the wall and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like whether or not, you know, I'm playing in this big glossy, all these decorations and styles and everything, or whether or not in the standard grey box you're playing a regs in, I feel like it's going to be exactly the same if you're a player.
Yeah, to a large extent, yeah, for sure.
Nice. So I mean, you obviously played 8 games in the first day. Tell us a bit about your run. Were there any games that you felt particularly proud of, like any matchups, like tough matchups that you were happy with, interesting games, stuff like that? I know you had a couple of like really high level players on your ticket for the day.
Yeah, I can go through the round. So round 1, I versed a player from Thailand, yeah. And it was just like a Necrozma Dawnwings hard Trick Room team.
Okay.
I'd practice into that. I got caught a bit off guard in game 1 because all my practice was into like min speed Dawnwings, and then it just media beamed like Calio. I was like, shit. But I did manage to win that game still.
Nice.
And yeah, I didn't play the best. Like I find like round 1 of a tournament, like I'm not as focused as I should be.
Yeah.
But so I felt a bit like lucky to escape with the win there. I made some like I kind of got bailed out by making like hard reads, to be honest.
Okay,
like
fair
I didn't
enough.
like have that good of a game plan. But anyway, I was able to get the win. That's all that matters at the end. And then round 2, I was playing against, who did I play in round 2? Oh yeah, just like where was he from? I can't remember.
Vincent Ignacio, if you're listening, we're sorry. We don't know where you're from.
He was from maybe LATAM.
It sounds like either Latin American or Filipino name.
Maybe he was.
He is Filipino, yep.
Fuck, I'm good.
Good call. That was a really like easy matchup. It was like Cali SHO and I Terra Normal Cali. Like
Yeah.
He went for like, every single time that I clicked Terra Normal, he expanding Force Redder and he still lost. So yeah, that was a good matchup. I wasn't really gonna
Nice.
that.
That was kind of like a team that you had built for.
Yeah, that was like a big part of the theory around the team in general.
So we talked about the meta shifting a lot. Did you feel that was going to be probably the most prevalent team there?
Yeah, well,
Or at least one of?
one of, yeah. Well, like all the Cali switched to like boosting item. A lot of them added in DD expanding force. Like a lot of them, you know, not so much like slow balance setup as before covert, you know, the covert cloak Terra Fairy.
I was going to say with the
going
Clef Fairy,
for
that
the-
was pretty prevalent a few weeks beforehand.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was a good matchup. I was lucky. I was happy to take that out. And then round 3, I versed Giovanni Costa.
Yeah.
And that matchup was dreadful.
What was he running?
He was running, so like the Maridon matchup was like, we got it to be like 50-50, but then when they have Incineroar, it's not good because I don't have Fake Out Blocker and like I need to bring Clef to the matchup.
Yeah.
But if Clef if I have something next to Clef, like they just fake out that slot every single time. And
because fake out's a higher priority.
I have zero
colony,
I have zero, way to punish that really.
Sure.
And he also had Dark Ursh and I'm Terra Normal Kali, so that's really bad.
Yeah.
So game 1 and 2, I couldn't bring Kali. I realized sorry?
At all.
I couldn't bring Kali, because he's just fake out Wicked Blow, fake out
Just
CC.
over,
It's it's so hard. So I was game 1 came down to on the last turn. It was gonna be a roll if I died, but then he crit me. So I don't know if it mattered. I don't know if it mattered. It probably didn't.
Yeah.
And then game 2 I was able to take it, and then game 3 I read his adjustment from Dark Ursh. He had a Terra Grass booster Flutter. And the 4 that I was bringing in game 1 and game 2, hard lost to that.
Yeah.
So I gambled and I brought Kali.
Yeah.
And I got it right. He didn't bring Dark Ursh and he brought the Flutter.
Nice.
Bait got Terra out turn 1 and then won pretty cleanly. So that felt good. I was pretty happy with my play in that round. Obviously a good player. Yeah.
I mean, he pretty successful. He was like top 4 NAIC or something, top 8 maybe.
He won a regional this year.
Very successful. I drafted him, I think.
Sorry.
Well, I drafted you as well.
Okay.
So.
Sorry.
I was looking at that matchup. I was like, either way, my draft pick is fucked. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome because I think he was running a very similar. Actually, I think he's running like more hyper offense at NAIC. He was running like Scarf Chiyu and the Terra Ground Helping Hand for Ridgeraff next to Discharge Miraidon.
Oh, he was actually running Choice Scarf Miraidon.
Okay.
Which made it a bit easier.
That's very interesting.
I was curious what matchup that was really for.
I was noticing a little bit of diversity in the item choice on Miraidon at Worlds. There was one AV.
Bit, yeah.
It was still overwhelmingly specs, but there was an AV here and
he was there.
I wonder if this
maybe a cloak there, maybe.
I wonder if the scarf's maybe for Urshi Dark. Sorry, not Urshi Dark, Kali Shadow.
Yeah, but then it doesn't kill it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, he had good reasons.
He'd have his reasons. Obviously, yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
Were they good reasons?
His reasons weren't for beating you, evidently.
And then round 4, I played Alex Gomez, and it was probably the best I've played in terms of just knowing exactly what someone was going to do every single turn.
Yeah.
And he didn't play bad at all, but it wasn't very close.
You're just in his
I just got
free.
I just got every turn right, and sometimes I can't get a turn right. So it's just Pokemon.
Yeah. It's you can be really good at predicting people, but at the end of the day, these things can still come down to a coin flip.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes I don't know, it's very rare, but sometimes in a set you can just get into you're just so locked in that you're just so confident that you're going to get the calls right, and it somehow works out that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then again, there was sets where I was so unconfident I was going to get the calls right, and then I get them wrong. So
yeah,
it goes both ways. But yeah, that felt pretty good to get that win to go to 4-0. And then I matched Javier Senora, who was running another Miraidon Insyn team, which was hard.
Yeah,
and I didn't play that well during the set. I lost a bit of focus. I missed some plays that I could have made, but the matchup was really hard. I'm not sure I would have won anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, definitely some more things I could have done to improve my chances.
Yeah.
So
Did Iron Leaves do anything?
I actually no. It did in game 1, and then it didn't even come in game 2. It wasn't that bad. It killed my Urshifu, and so that was a bit annoying.
That's funny.
But yeah, he's a really good player. I have a lot of respect for him. He played really well.
Nice.
And then round 6, I play, I'm not sure his name, Stefano De Maria. He was playing a Miraidon team that I was pretty familiar with that I stopped using because I couldn't beat Kali Ice.
Yeah.
And I was running Kali Ice. So it was a pretty clean 2-0.
Nice.
And then so 1 away from day 2 at 5-1. I match a Kyogre player from I think he was Dutch. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, some of the rolls just didn't go my way. I feel like I played it fine. It's actually funny. So throughout game 1 and 2 and the first turn of game 3, my Urshifu outsped his 5 out of 5 times. And he's running Life Orb. So you either go Jolly Max or you go bulky Adamant.
Yeah.
So I have locked game 3 on turn 2 if my Urshifu outspeeds. And so I just make the play assuming I outspeed. If I knew it was a speed tie, I still was in a very favorable position.
Yeah.
And then I lose the speed tie.
Right.
Which was like really frustrating. Especially because in game 1 and 2, like 2 of the speed ties that I won were both going for CC. So I would have just killed him if I lost the speed tie.
Right. Okay.
So
because of the defense
like
drop.
none of the speed ties benefited me.
Yeah.
And then so that was unfortunate. And then I missed the Draco in game 3 as well to just eliminate me into like double Origin hit. And then game 1, he needed to double hit Origin into 50% chance of killing my Calyrex. And he got us.
That's fucked. I mean, we talked a bit about Draco Meteor misses from the seniors final.
Yeah, that was rough.
The guy who missed it in game 3, the most expensive Draco Meteor miss anyone's ever going to see. So,
I fell for him, but it was funny. he walked up before his match and was like, "I'm here to click Helping Hand Draco Meteor and nothing else."
Did he actually say that?
Yeah. And then he did it.
No.
At least he didn't click Helping Hand. A Helping Hand into Draco Meteor into miss would have been really
Yeah,
rough.
yikes.
He almost pulled it back as well. That was, but can't come back from that. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about you.
But yeah, my opponent played really well, and it was a bit unfortunate to lose, especially like when I like mentally had it in game 3, off that, assuming that I was faster, and then into losing the speed tie, into missing Draco.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like tilted after that, but my friends, kind of calmed me down, and I got ready for the next round. Then I pull Aaron Trailer,
yeah.
as you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then
So you went into that like a little bit kind of.
I wasn't like, I mean, I think by the time the next round, because like I was just Kyogre, so it was a quick match, but it was tough to lose that because like you had it, and it just like feels like it got taken away from you a bit. But no.
So the Aaron Trailer match, what's it like being on stream? I imagine that's vastly different to just your standard playing across some table from one another.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. I'm a very like anxious person.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm doing something like for the first time.
Yeah.
Like a new experience like that. Like, I mean, even just like playing at my first regional on the table, it was like a similar experience to that.
Sure.
It usually takes a little bit of like getting used to like, be able to focus properly and like think clearly. So like it was a good experience, but it was hard. Yeah. It was hard. I
was winning in, and like Aaron Trailer across the table is just
as much as it was great to play on stream because like my dad was watching, and, like a lot of my friends were watching, and like that's a really cool moment, like I do I do kind of wish that it was just at the table, because I think I would have played a bit better, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
For sure.
It was a great experience. I'm glad I was able to play on stream.
Yeah. I mean, it was, we were holding out for it.
We were ecstatic when you sent us the message.
Yeah.
I'm
it
on
was
stream.
nuts.
the energy in our fucking like down south chalet.
Yeah, we're all just in a room together watching it. Every time like the pairings came up on RK9, it's like, surely this time they show us Melbourne Regional Champion Kiran Singh on stream.
And then you get the world's winning in on the stream.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying. It's like last round, they show a winning in match.
Yeah.
Surely. And then you sent that message to the group chat and we went fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that I was going to be on when I matched Trailer. I was like, oh, this is definitely,
Yeah.
He hadn't been on stream as well. So I was like, oh, yeah.
I hope you know how many Twitch points we'd all wasted with our highlighted messages.
I heard.
Man, if Twitch was working down south, I would have burned all my Twitch points betting on you as well. But I mean, the match was insane. It was just, I have to say, a really good match to watch. And like, I feel like for your first time being on stream at your first Worlds, like you pulled game 1 out. Like smashed him in that one. And then
We went fucking ballistic on that T-Bolt para.
That was nice.
So
That was
nice.
yeah.
You've watched back the replay, right? You've seen your face, the face you make when it gets the
Well,
para.
yeah. Well, I saw it because you sent it to me.
Actually, your facial expression, that reminds me of game 2. I feel like you got a crit, if I remember correctly.
It
or
was
something
really
like that.
bad. Yeah,
It was, and I was like, oh, everyone's cheering. And I look at your face and you're just grimacing. I was like, fuck.
I was in a.
I don't think that's good.
I was in a good position in game 2, and I did not want to knock out the Urshifu that turn because then my only win con was going for a crit CC.
Yeah, because it gave him the free switch.
Yeah, into Miraidon. I couldn't like everything. He just Terra dazzle foul plays.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but obviously I got the power in game 1. It's not like I had lost game 1. It was still pretty 50-50, but like it did mean that I pretty much
It won you game 1.
yeah,
I think.
definitely. Like it made my life a lot easier in game 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit annoying. But I should have just got the T-Clap T-Volt mind game right.
Was that the game 3?
Game 2.
Oh, game 2.
That turn that I crit him, he switched his Miraidon into Giraffe and I T-Clapped.
That's right.
But it's tough because if he Volt Switch CCs my Kali Ice, then I lose. And I go for T-Bolt, I lose. So I had to make the call. I got it wrong. That's okay.
Reads are hard.
Reads are hard.
Reads are very hard.
But yeah.
And then obviously game 3 was super intense. Like I don't think my butthole didn't unclench for several hours afterwards.
Yeah.
But down to that final read in the second last turn with the Iron Crown and Raging Bolt. Do you reckon that was like a full-on 50-50 that either way he could have targeted?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a true 50-50 because he has to double up a slot.
The
and
helping hand into the low kick to pick up the KO.
He has
on one of
that
them?
helping hand low kick, the Raging Bolt, or Drain Punch foul play, the Iron Crown.
Okay,
to kill.
right, yeah.
I don't know, helping hand.
Or maybe helping hand wild charge because it was on terrain.
Helping hand, low kick probably kills as well.
Yeah.
But either way, if I protect Raging Bolt and I tacky on the Friggraff, then I win
Yes,
instantly.
yeah.
So, but I could have just played better to avoid situations. You know, I made some like plays throughout the set, but
Just
that's
on the
okay.
knife edge the whole time. Yeah. I remember thinking as I watched, like in game 2 and game 3, just like clicking the glacial turn 1 seemed like a not very worthwhile trade for sacking the clef, and I was like, why doesn't he click Trick Room? And then like game 3 sort of like answered that question for me because the hands was so
the hands
scary.
goes crazy. It's slower than my Kali.
It was a very Perth thing that all the Perth players sitting around and we all have like 2 fucking brains. I was like, why is he not clicking Trick Room? Because we only know one way to play the game, and that's click Trick Room.
Yeah, 3,000 elo between us all.
Between all 15 of us. But I mean, it was a good game because like it really did kind of give you that insight. Why is he not clicking Trick Room? Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
But I mean, super intense game, and unfortunately, gate kept from the second day. But I mean, overall, just like you said, 2 wins against 2 of some of the best players in the world, Costa and Gomez. So that in itself is huge. Do you reckon after that, like in terms of your thoughts for Worlds going forwards, do you reckon that's kind of like, perhaps demoralized you from wanting to pursue it? Or do you reckon you're more, encouraged to keep going for it? Or do you reckon you're about the same? Has it changed kind of like your opinion about how you want to pursue that kind of thing in the future?
Definitely more encouraged. I'm like a big believer in that the failure makes the success sweeter.
Yeah,
Like,
sweet.
That's just like the way you have to look at it. You have to just let it motivate you to try and do better in that situation in the future.
Man, my success is going to be so sweet when it comes.
Yeah, man. I don't know that you could even like call that a failure when you kind of take everything on balance. Like
it sounds like hyperbole, but we are talking about the literal best players in the world, right? To like go positive is in itself an achievement. Like that really makes you the best of the best.
Yeah, no, I'm not unhappy with how I did, but I don't know. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Think losing the win on stream as well is kind of, what do they call it? Like silver medal syndrome or something, where it's like they've done like psychological studies where silver medalists are less happy than bronze medalists.
Yeah.
Because they just missed out on winning, whereas bronze medalists are just happy to be there.
I made it.
Yeah, genuinely. So I mean, I can't imagine that it would have helped, but still, like huge result.
Honestly, that's how I felt. I was the bronze medal when I saw my Iron Crown pop up. I was like, yeah, baby.
So I think so many different people in the room with us were all just pointing at different Pokemon on your team that let you.
It's like the Mike Wazowski. I made it to World.
That's my raging bolt. 100%. So I mean, yeah, that was 5 wins, 3 losses. That's 8 rounds. Obviously, being the new tournament structure with 8 rounds on day 1, where previously it would have been 9 because they've kind of changed it, and it's just like a flat X2 makes day 2. Do you have any thoughts on the new structure? Do you feel that's better, worse?
I like the new structure. I also played like a Victory Road tournament, which was using the structure, and I really liked it as well. Like,
was that the Road to Honolulu?
Yeah.
They called it, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, like at EUIC, right? If you made day 2, you went 7-2, like that's a good record. You pretty much had to win all 6 day 2 rounds to make cut. Like
Jesus.
it's so punishing. Like
Yeah.
you can go 5-1 and make it, but then you're preying on res.
Yeah.
So the new structure I feel is like really good because, like you don't need to stress as much on day 1, just try and get to day 2 and then take it from there. It feels a lot less punishing.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm glad we got that going forward.
Sweet. And do you feel like 8 rounds in a day is enough? Like,
I think it's enough. I think
you don't have to go play in 9th.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. 8 rounds is good. 8 rounds is good.
Nice. So did you stick around for the whole thing? Were you there for like the final matches?
Yeah, I was rooting for. I still had some friends in the tournament,
Nice,
so it's good to root for them. Still a fan of the game at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Fair enough. I mean, last episode we shouted out the guy who went 08.
yeah, that's impressive.
Eric Luong.
Eric rocked up and he was like, I'm here to play some Pokemon. I'm going to play some Pokemon. And no matter how many times he lost, he went back to his next game.
I don't know how you don't get a no-show or a bye. Like that's honestly,
He must have been statistically really unlucky. Yeah.
he would have been. Yeah,
I looked it up. His final match of the day, it was 2 0-7 players up against each other. So he won the wooden spoon.
And they would have been the only 0-7 players.
Yeah, they were.
I have to
Stick
respect
that on stream. Jesus Christ.
I would watch the shit out of the wooden spoon stream match.
Yes.
100%. I really, because like this is where you're getting the jank shit.
Yeah.
Like,
We should do it for the Perth locals. Get the wooden spoon award for like the.
yes, mate.
Would be actually
I'm not going to call
zero
that out specifically, but we all know who.
Do we?
So yeah, I mean, obviously, you stuck around. Then they did the announcements at the very end. Do you, as someone who lives on the literal other side of the world, have any thoughts about the fact that they're just continuously sticking it in California?
Like 1 California Worlds is good, but then 2 is like it's a bit dragged. Yeah,
It is, and like when you think about it, like this is 3 US Worlds in a row because Hawaii is the US. I'd be willing to have like Hawaii and then mainland US. I'm willing to count those as 2 different things.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like like California twice in a row. When we were all watching the stream at our place, we saw the announcement that it's just like, we're doing a big announcement for Anaheim or whatever, and it's like, and just down the road, and we thought they were like doing 2 venues. We thought it was like VGCs in this place and TCGs in this place, so they could have like
Finals
bigger
Sunday
or whatever.
is at Disneyland.
And then there's like, no, fuck you, we're just doing California 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I was hopeful for like, I don't know, someone brought up Singapore and I was like, that would be sick.
That's been the hope of a lot of players here for a while, I think. I think a lot of people here also want Japan to do another showing.
Yeah.
We floated Paris potentially as an idea before the actual announcement came.
Honestly, anywhere in Europe would be good.
Yeah.
Anywhere but California.
Yeah, I don't, and it's Anaheim as well.
Yeah, right?
Like,
What the fuck is an Anaheim? Yeah.
San Fran's in the bin as well, apparently. People were telling me. Like,
Yeah, it's a shithole.
everyone left.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know.
Except Big Pika.
Except Big Pika.
Maybe that's the rent's gone
Yeah,
down.
the rents will change.
What's the opposite of gentrification? That's happened in San Francisco, and now Pokemon can get a really cheap venue cost.
That's probably all it is, G.
So, yeah, I mean, we were complaining about it at length last episode about, like, you know, us 4 players who are not going to make it to Worlds next year, all complaining about where Worlds is being held. So we figured we'd get your opinion. Someone who probably will be there.
The only person I saw excited was Nick Khan, who literally popped off. I was sitting next to him because he won Worlds in Anaheim in juniors. That's the only reason to be excited about Anaheim Worlds.
He's going back
you
to
won
the victory
Worlds.
lap. Yeah.
He's like, go to Disneyland.
Do the world stream on Splash Mountain.
Can you imagine being a junior going to Anaheim and being like, all right, I'm going to play day 1 and then I'm going to go to Disneyland day 2. And then you make like day 2 and it's like, fuck it. Well, all right, well then I guess I'm going to just go on final Sunday instead. I'm going to go to Disneyland. And then when you get through to the very finals. God damn it. As a kid, I'd be so pissed. Why do I keep winning? But yeah, that's very funny. But yeah, Nick Khan can do the victory lap and all the other Australians can scrounge and scrape to see if they can get enough money to buy a ticket around the world. Yeah.
Lose to Toga Tomorrow.
Yeah. That was Lewis Tan, not Nick Khan.
Love you, Lewis.
Yeah, that'll happen.
All right, well.
But yeah, shut up. I have more questions.
Oh, you do? Well, go on then.
I have a harder hitting one.
Go.
Who was the cutest player at Worlds?
I don't know how to answer that question.
You can say yourself. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
You're a cop-out, Kiran.
Who was the cutest player of the players you versed?
I have to say, Alex Gomez is an attractive man.
Yeah, that's
Objectively.
fair.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of like
Objectively.
square jaw, kind of like quite chiseled face. Wood.
And how much did the Pokemon Center line smell like piss?
I was lucky. I completely dodged it. Yeah.
You were the pisser, weren't you?
Hey man, when you're having to wait for like an hour and a half.
No, so the strategy was to like not go to your booking until like 45 minutes after because that's how late they were running. And
Yeah.
the way they set up was so bad. But
Yeah.
we didn't even do it on purpose. But we were just 45 minutes late because we were lining up to get the competitors' kit and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have to wait too long. But I mean, like, the payoff wasn't very much. The
No.
stuff left was pretty
Just
shit.
get into the Pokemon Center after waiting for ages to find that someone has picked up the one plushie left of the one you wanted in there. So like, yeah, you can buy it. You have to give me $500 for it.
Yeah, exactly.
To find the shelf of Ogie Dogies.
That was literally it. That was left. Okie dokie. No one wanted an okie dokie.
Should have gone to Worlds.
This fucking hurts me. Yeah, I should have done, but
Did you get Rob to get you an okie
much
dokie?
like in no, I didn't.
Shout out Robert Chen, friend of the show.
Much like in Regulation F, as with the plushies in the Worlds shop, Okie Dokie fucking sucks. And so I didn't go to Worlds. That's not true. I love you, Okie Dokie.
I know you're listening.
Friend of the show.
Okay,
Call me back.
if there was any Pokemon that I wouldn't want to offend over a podcast, it's Okie Dokie. Like, look at that fucking thing. It could kick the shit out of me, and it looks like it holds a grudge. Like, I can't think of any Pokemon I would less want to insult.
God.
Nah, fuck it. He'd be fine.
It's goat stuff in the fence, man.
I would rather Arceus smite me than Okie Dokie just come and beat me up with his giant fucking hands.
Dunk shot you. Throw a garbage bin at you.
Okay, fucking hell. This is going places.
He would just full on like bring a trash bin and just
Spike would miss anyway.
you leave me alone. I won a game at Perth with a gunk shot.
One game.
Well, I won many games with it.
Okay.
Because it was my Ogerpon answer. But it was an insane read on the final turn against a guy with a Raging Bolt. Because it was a protracted Drain Punch versus Dragon Pulse drawn out match. And then I was in Thunderclap range. I clicked Upper Hand. He clicked Protect. And in the following turn, he wasn't in Drain Punch range, but he was in Gunk Shot range. And I clicked Gunk Shot, expecting him to play around the Upper Hand because he was like, he could have Thunderclap me to death. And he went for the Dragon Pulse because he was scared of the Upper Hand, and Gunk Shot connected and picked up the win for game 3.
Nice.
Huge.
Yeah. So shut the fuck up about Okie Dokie. I don't see why people aren't buying the plushies. It's a doggy, but it's literally in the name.
It's just an okay doggy.
Yeah.
Bit of a tangent. I fucking love their names.
Yeah.
Except for Serendipity. That one's a fucking reach. But
Yeah, it is.
like
Monkey
Okie Dokie and Hunky Dory,
Monkey
but
Dory.
like Monkey Dory and Okie Dokie. It's sick. I
Didn't
love
Jamie
it.
Boyd bring Monkey Dory to Worlds? Am I wrong about that?
He might have been. It was. I
trying
think
to
I was
run
looking at
back
the
the bottom.
stats.
Trying to run back on speed run.
Yeah.
Eric Luong got him.
Last week I was looking at the stats from Worlds and I was looking like lowest win rate Mons, and I think so Monkey Dory was one of them.
Yeah, Jamie Boyd did run it.
Jeez.
He ran some jank shit and one he went like
How do you go? I didn't actually see him.
he started X2 and then finished 3-3. So
That's not bad. Submarine.
I mean, when you bring Walking Wake, Brute Bonnet, Monkey Dory, like come on.
Caridon, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Did he have a single Mon on his team that was good?
Champow?
Sure.
Okay. Right. Have you got more questions?
I mean, that was the end of my questions about Worlds, so
Okay.
feel free to ask.
So yeah, I was going to say, like, moving forwards, now that Worlds is over and we have the next biggest calendar event on the horizon, Perth Regionals in December.
We haven't spoken about that yet.
No, and we haven't spoken much about Regulation Set H either.
No, and that was going to be my next question as well.
So-
But let's quickly talk about Perth. There were rumors going around, and I won't say where they came from, but we heard a lot of rumors from a fairly credible sources that they were going to axe Perth, and we weren't going to get it.
And they were very, very easy rumors to believe, given the track record of Big Pikachu and their overall
how much they hate Australians. Yeah.
their overall attitude towards Oceania as a region.
Yeah. But then we got Perth, and it's later this year, and it's Regulation H, and
Yeah.
that's super hype.
It's much earlier than it's ever been.
Yeah,
And-
It's a good idea.
yeah.
It's a good idea.
And then Melbourne got cancelled.
Nah, it's coming back.
It's gonna, like, Melbourne's gonna come back, and I hope it comes back because I really like traveling to, like, it's a nice city to travel to. It's close enough that I can justify traveling for Pokemon events. I like going to Melbourne Regs, but I'm glad they're giving it a few months before they announce it.
Yeah.
Just because seeing the Melbourne players be so pissed off
they're
is
molding
just,
so hard.
it's so funny. And it was like, I want Melbourne to come back, but just give it a few months before
Yeah,
they tell us
let it
about
simmer.
it. Yeah,
So
let
I
it
was on a flight back to Hawaii with like heaps of Melbourne VGC
Yeah,
players.
yeah, yeah.
As soon as the plane lands, you just hear like someone shout out like, "No Melbourne, two regionals. Literally, everyone's just in shambles. Like,
We were just sitting there with your smug face, like, yeah, man, you guys all have to come over to where I live for once.
well, at that point, I thought we had two regionals, so I was pissed as well.
Because you assumed when you heard two regionals that they'd axe Perth? Or?
Yeah, well, no, so even just having two regionals is just awful.
yeah, that sucks.
Like,
Yeah. And
top 20 and then two regionals, and there's more internats than regionals. Like,
Yeah, that's
problematic.
I mean, even if they did have Melbourne regionals, you probably steal it out from under them again anyway.
You know what's funny is one of our friends down south got my hopes up a concerning amount. So just before they did the announcement, he's like, "Hey guys, I've got a theory. Oceania, is the last region to announce their regionals. Every other region has announced all their regional dates and everything. OCE is the only one that haven't. And ESL, who are our group in Oceania who organize all the events, they've said they're just waiting on some last-minute details from Big Pika. So I reckon they're doing Worlds in Australia. And that's why they haven't announced it yet, is because I've got to work out the details. And the rational part of me is like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
But then the emotional part of me was like,
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
maybe. He was making just enough sense that I was getting really kind of excited. And then there's like, hey guys, here's a video. And they showed like a beach and a pier. And I was like, no fucking way.
When I saw that, I was like, wait.
Worlds in Bustleton. But I saw that. I was like, no way. And then I was like, wait, I don't recognize the architecture. And then see like, I don't know, whatever the fucking Anaheim architecture is. And I was like, oh,
Mickey Mouse.
California. And it's like, wait, that's not all. And it's like California again. It's like, okay, now you're really just stomping on my soul. But, yeah, Worlds, Reg H, big, huge news. So that's awesome. Are you, I mean, I'll open this up to the floor now, to the guys that didn't go to Worlds. Sorry, Dan, too soon.
It's over now.
Are you cooking for Reg H? Or are you taking a bit of a break?
Taking a bit of a break. But we'll have to come back for the doubleheader cup. We'll have to come up with something.
Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after? Or is it still a couple
I think
weekends
it's
away?
The time of
It's
recording.
the 14th, 15th. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, redact that. No Eastern has come for our double cup.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of cooking. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I found like the team in capital T's for Reg G like slightly too late. And I didn't have any tournaments to bring it to, so I'm just going to wait until it rolls around in January and just bring that team then. But I've been just getting back on the horse with Regulation H, and it's one of those things where in like low-powered metas, everybody's just running whatever random bullshit pops into their heads, and you're just losing every fucking ladder match. But at the same time, you can run the random bullshit too. So I've just been like looking at all kinds of things. Like I was running like Minior on a Lily Cole semi-room team. That's a good mon. It fails hard against steel types, but like there's certain things that you can just like rock slide and acro.
thank God 2 of the strongest Pokemon in Regulation H aren't steel type.
Yeah, right. So I don't
Thank
know.
God Golden Go and Archeludon aren't in the game.
So yeah, that idea was like a little bit of a non-starter. Thank you, Mark.
What does a Minior do?
That's an excellent question, Kieran.
Yes, thank you, World's competitor, for asking.
Ask the real question.
Yeah. So Minior, for those listening at home who may also not know, our target audience is mainly Perth players, so they should all know.
Well, I'm a genuine question, like what does Minior do? Because I'm vaguely aware of what it does, but I still don't understand how it works.
It's a very cool Pokemon.
Okay,
So
tell us.
At the core of it, it's a Shell Smasher, right? So it's a rock and flying type. It gets Shell Smash. It gets Rock Slide and Acrobatics, which is probably like all it needs, Steel types notwithstanding. But it gets this extremely cool ability called Shields Down. It kind of has this Aegislash dynamic where when it's above half HP, it has this defensive form where it's slower, but it has higher defensive stats, which makes it easier to set up. And then after it dips below half HP, its speed shoots up to a 120, I think.
Holy
And
shit.
it gets an offensive boost, and its defenses fall through the floor. It's really cool. And in its shields up form, like the full health with the shield on it, it's actually immune to status. We had a little bit of a debate in it in our like side team building chat where
I'm trying to work out what non-volatile status means.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's basically just all of like the semi-permanent ones. So it's immune to sleep, it's immune to burn, power, poison, all of that, like when it's fresh on the field. And a lot of the time it doesn't dip below half anyway. So I'll just like boost and be immune to status and like be kind of hitting like a bitch, but at the same time, like Rock and Flying is a really good typing because like Ursaluna can't wipe it out in one hit.
Yeah.
So it has that going for it. And on this specific team, I had like 2 fighting types and 2 fire types, just like all the steel hate in the world, just to try and clear out the golds and the bridges. And it was kind of working, man.
I mean, you can run it next to like Earthquake
Yeah.
because it's a flying type.
Maybe I'll try that next.
Yeah. Like
But,
Band
yeah, no.
Excadrill or something.
Very, very cool, mon. I was also doing things with like Orthworm Garchomp and like trying out various telepathy things. And I've got Source at the moment that I'm holding on to because it's actually like showing a little bit of promise.
Yeah.
But it's a good time to be a jank player, man. It's the Wild West out there.
Yeah. The first couple of like weeks of like restricted formats is just, it's a fun time.
It really is.
Because it's, as you say, the Wild West. It's just people running random shit, like all different flavors of Smeargle, and just various like mons you've never seen with abilities you've never heard of. It's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of Wild West, got swept by Terra Ghost Bramblegast.
Oh, Bramblegast is back.
Went nuts on
Hell
me. I was
yeah.
What do I do?
We are so back.
I need to cook with Shiftry again.
No.
No, you don't. I'll let you have Minior, but you keep Shiftry in the cupboard where it belongs.
So
Yeah.
What was that dude who ran Scarf, beat up, taunt in prison on shift tree to stop all.
Oh, is it to stop the beat up now someone to annihilate?
Awful, terrible. I'm not
So
doing
bad.
that.
I love it.
You click scarf in prison and then you're stuck on the field clicking in prison.
What about you, Dan? You cooking at the moment? You in the kitchen?
Yeah, once like it was announced, I was like, finally I can get off Reg G because I hate restricted formats. So yeah, had a cooking partner, Sliff.
My condolences.
We were talking back and forth, and then like we been optimizing, and now he wants to give the 6 to a bunch of TCG players for our double cup weekend. I was like, please don't.
It's mouse.
Of course it is.
It's mouse.
We both played it, like, but I think you can put some variance on it. Like,
You're not bringing Dondozo to the
no. I know I Dan Dozo at heart. but-
Yeah, of course. Wait, mate, why not just bring them both? Mouse Ape and Dondozo.
You're right. I'll just do a 2-2-2.
Yeah.
Indeedy, Armor Rouge,
Yeah.
Mouse Ape, Dondozo, perfect.
Man,
Works.
Fuck, can we bleep that?
Mark doesn't know what button it is.
I'm new to hosting. I don't know how the soundboard works. I don't know. Is it this?
Well, it was a good shot.
So you're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Here's we go. So,
So you've taken a break from it. So you don't even
yeah,
you
you're
know
not
what you
even.
want to run?
Probably like Among Us. Nah.
I mean, it's still good. It's always good.
Yeah, it's
No, I'll-
insane.
No, I got some ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got something up his sleeve.
Absolutely, I think's good.
Yeah.
I don't have it up my sleeve. I wouldn't say. But, King Gambit, Swords Dance.
Yeah. Sorry, I take back what I said earlier, Ethan. 3 of the strongest Pokemon in the format are Steel types.
This is true. I
Although
haven't seen
most
a lot
King
of
Gambit,
King Gambit.
most King Gambit don't run Steel coverage these days.
No.
They don't.
It's just Soul
Full
Stone's Double
dark,
Dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been running that in Reg G, and it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of King Gambit, and it's strange because I think it's cracked in this format.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those mons that I've said it before. I'll say it again. You'll always see it at top tables.
Yeah.
Like whenever you watch like day 2 streams from big events, there's always King Gambit.
It's a lot on like top best of 3 ladder at the moment. Like every second team is running it.
Once you climb out of 1200, you'll probably start seeing it.
I'll let you know.
I shouldn't talk shit. I went on a massive losing streak the other day and binned my entire team.
Yeah, same.
I'm really punching up here. I mean, my cook at the moment is Charizard and Sun. And that's just like an immense amount of copium.
That
because
Chi-Yu at home.
I really miss Chi-Yu, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the Sun with solar power, those heat waves are doing massive damage. Never quite enough. And I always just get KO'd on the backswing. But in that brief minute when I click heat wave and I am about to OHKO a mon and then I miss both of them, I feel exactly like I did in Reg F when I was playing Chi-Yu.
But if you close your eyes.
No, if they opened its fucking eyes, might actually connect a heat wave or two. But that's super fun. Meowscarada as well.
Meowscarada's good.
I love it. It's Dondozo can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
And I just am a furry, so
As we look at the Vaporeon plush in your house.
you leave that Vaporeon plush alone. It was a gift.
From who?
Drax.
Okay.
And when I say it was a gift, I mean I won it.
Uh-huh.
And there were a selection of plushies that I could have picked.
And you went for the meme. Okay.
I went for the Vaporeon, but I feel like even if I try to say, oh, I did it for the joke, no one's going to believe it.
no.
It's just going to make me look more sus. So I'm just going to roll with it at this point. But yeah, I mean, I love unrestricted formats. It lets me use Pokemon I like.
Yeah. I don't like them as much as restrictive formats. I find that being like a smaller pool of viable mons means that there's more to kind of build towards rather than just being open-ended, like try and win against everything.
Yeah.
And like reactive team building is a bit of a loser's game to
Yes.
begin with, but at the same time, like having a purpose in mind rather than just like try and hit things until you win, which I find that that's sometimes a little bit too open ended unless you have a very like specific game plan in mind.
Sure.
Yeah, you're different. I know.
My game plan is click sunny day, click heat wave.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just my manifesto on why I'm not a good player who never cuts.
Nah, you'll get it, bud. Trust. I mean, speaking of cutting, I don't know about you guys. I felt that Reg Age was going to be a bit of a break. Because it kind of seemed like there was not really going to be anything important. Obviously, there's a couple of cups that we have to play in Regulation H, but it kind of seemed like I was just going to dick around a bit. And then I think Reg G is going to be back at the start of the next year.
Yeah.
So by the time we start traveling for other events, we're back into these restricted formats and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll have more regionals in that format.
So I was just expecting to kind of like fuck around with fun Pokemon for the format, but then they announced that Perth is coming out.
We got all the global challenges as well, starting next month.
Are they? Oh, God.
There's one every month. But the BFL's 3 for some reason.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I'm not even going to get points in 3.
But yeah, Japan can only... But they don't take our points anyway. They just get eliminated from the standings, yeah.
Yeah, that's so rough. Sucks to be in Japan if you'd like VGC.
I think my biggest gripe with all of this is that from a naming convention, it's a nightmare. We now had 2 regionals in Perth.
Yeah, you
in
can't
2024.
You can't refer to like 2024 Reds.
No, you got to call it 2025 Perth regionals.
Do you?
That's what they called Brisbane last year.
That's fair.
2024
the next
Brisbane
season.
But that was Brisbane and
You're studying accounting, right?
Finance.
Yeah. So I did accounting at uni, and so for me, it's just SY 24-25. Fiscal year 2024-2025 regionals. I assume that's how you'd probably do it in your head as well.
yeah, so it's 2025 regionals for tax purposes.
Yeah.
Kiran's like, I remember that when I
Exactly.
lodged my winnings.
That's a good question, actually. Are your winnings taxable? I know
Yes.
like they get taxed in the US. Do you have to declare them here in Australia?
No, you just get taxed in the US. They just send you the amount that's been taxed already.
Okay.
Can't get it back as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, because, I mean, you can't obviously claim it back from the ATO when the ATO didn't take it.
No.
That's, do you reckon, and obviously there's a bit of speculation because you're not studying accounting like I did, but do you reckon there'll be a point at which you're earning enough from events that you would have to declare it as taxable income here in Australia?
I'm not really sure how it works purely because you get taxed in the US.
Yeah.
Like I've not...
Either way, it depends on TPCI. Right?
Nothing. No.
Really?
tax,
So
yeah.
prize money, including like prize money from events.
So what? Lottery winnings in the US are taxed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so...
And lottery winnings here aren't.
Mm.
Okay.
That's so bullshit that they...
And so that's true for like all prize money. Okay. Really interesting.
Uncle Sam wants his cut.
Yeah, take that.
We won the lottery. And they hate communism.
Fucking libertarians over there talking about the US being the best country in the world. Yeah. At least we don't get taxed on our prize money. How's your freedom now?
I mean, we do. But
We do.
they
Well,
take
we do,
it.
but yeah, from the US. Yeah.
Does it then follow that when you play Pokemon in Australia, it's not like winning the lottery?
It'd be like winning the lottery if I do ever win prize money in Australia.
I bet you there would be a reason, there would be a way that the US, that the TPCI could pay us out and not have us taxed, but they're just like, fuck OCE.
Yeah. Not surprised.
Yeah, they would probably have to pay some kind of tax to the ATO before the winnings.
Can't they just
I
expense
imagine.
it to ESL?
Maybe. I don't know. They barely trust ESL to run 3 events.
No, ESL need to up their game.
Yeah. I mean, they need to up their game. TPCI need to up their game.
Yeah.
Hey, the photographer did us 3 pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
To be
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Probably
That's
a
an iconic
freelancer
shot.
anyway.
Yeah, probably wasn't getting paid nearly enough. Yeah.
No.
Fuck. Yeah, they need to pay their staff more as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that now.
Do you know how much their staff get paid?
A lot of them are volunteers,
Really?
which is fucked. Like, they have so much money.
Let's not shit talk too much.
Hey,
We were lucky to get Perth.
We're gonna lose Perth Regs.
fair, but I mean, like at Worlds, like I think a lot of the staff there are volunteer
Volunteers, yeah.
work, which is just insane.
They do get like accommodation and flights, but still they should be paid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
100%.
It does sort of,
Maybe, is that why they constantly do worlds in the US? Because I've got fucked labor laws. They could just
crack the code.
They could just get away with slave labor over in the US.
Well, but no, it has always kind of like confused me, and like from a business perspective, just how stingy TPCI and Nintendo are around the VGC circuit. Well, and the competitive circuit in general.
Because competitive doesn't give them money. They get all their money from like casual
Shiny
players.
cardboard.
But
Yeah,
even
that's
like
their
the
money.
TCG players get fucked over.
Yeah, that's true. They do get a fair amount of money for that. But like, I always compare it to like when you look at like esports, they have massive payouts, and I'm not going to say treat their players well because there were strikes recently, but like League of Legends, right? The payouts for winning that are massive. And I think in part it's because they want to encourage really good players because they themselves get a lot of revenue out of like the competitive scene. Like, you know, they sell skins and other things like that, and they'd make a shit ton of money that way. TPCI aren't really getting the same income from it.
No.
I mean, that's
Like,
kind of...
if the competitive scene sank and like just completely went under, they would still continue to make shit tons of money. If the competitive scene went under in League, they'd lose a lot of their player base.
Sure. But like, I kind of think that like my point is sort of in there somewhere anyway. Like, even if they're not making that money back sort of directly by selling games or copies or whatever, surely the boost to the profile of the game, like VGC brings in a lot of interest and is continuing to.
I would be surprised if it brought in a financially relevant amount of interest, honestly, compared to like their usual bottom line that they get. Like I get the feeling competitive players in Pokemon are just so insanely outnumbered by casual fans. That being said, the interest is increasing every year, and I think they'd probably make more money from Worlds if they actually brought enough stock for the Pokemon Center. Imagine how much more money they would have made if everyone who wanted to spend money at the Pokemon Center could have done so.
Yeah,
their margins are so high on that stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Exactly. It's like a $60 plush that costs them like 10 cents to make in some very unethical factory somewhere.
So I think if they did make a mistake, it was probably that. But
if you had to pick one mistake, sure.
It does have to be said that like Pokemon is the highest grossing company, the highest grossing franchise in the world, like
by a significant margin as well.
Like purely off the back of the merch sales, pretty much. Like everything else is in service of that
merch sales, and then they also get a massive chunk from. I think they genuinely get more from Pokemon Go microtransactions.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Maybe that's dwindled now because obviously there was a massive popularity spike in 2016 when it dropped, and obviously it's kind of like leveled out on a significantly lower
what though?
base,
I see people at uni playing Pokemon Go.
It's still
one of those things that people do. It isn't the cultural phenomenon that it once was.
I mean, obviously these are Pokemon nerds, but like when we went down south for the weekend, people were running out to go do raids and catch Pokemon. It's like, oh, there's a Gibble up at reception, and they all kind of like got their phones and ran out. So it's still very much a thing.
I mean, whenever my dad like tells someone that I play Pokemon competitive, like, oh, yes. Pokemon Go. So do you have to like go verse people and catch things quicker than them? I'm like, no,
mate, I play the good one. I get exactly the same thing from like all like.
That's what they know, like, because there's such a big phenomenon in 2016. Like
every time. I mean, I don't typically bring it up in conversation myself, but the same deal. Like when my dad tells people,
I don't bring it up in conversation.
I sometimes do. No shame.
Yeah,
no, it's not a shame thing. It's
it
just
depends on
like,
the content. It's a thing of like I can't be fucked explaining to my dad's friend what I do.
That's it.
Because I get exactly the same response. She's like, oh, like you mean on your phone? I was like, no, that's Pokemon Go. No, it's a thing.
You mean the trading card?
I don't get that one at all.
Unite?
No.
Pokemon Sleep?
No one knows what Unite is. Even some people in the Pokemon scene don't know what it is.
I get the card one like 100% of the time.
I get the card a lot.
Yeah.
I never get the card one. But I mean, like I said, this is just exclusively like my dad and people like that telling people, oh, Mark's flying to Melbourne to play Pokemon. It's like, oh, the one on your phone? I was like, no.
It does make sense to me that Kiran is the only person here that would get carded. There's a joke in there. Come on.
That was not bad. I don't think anyone outside of the room is going to understand what you're talking about.
No.
Good joke, friend.
Thanks.
So, say they get more money like a League of Legends way, right?
Yeah.
They make a lot of money on microtransactions.
Yeah.
Cosmetic Mon skins.
Oh.
What do you feel?
Or like blue Incineroar, like in Smash.
Yeah. Or like a little fucking ribbon hat or something. So I'm
of two minds. I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have done it by now. Because they would have made a shit ton of money off the casual fans.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like there's been some kind of like, what's the word? Like, not ethical, but like, that kind of, there's been a philosophical decision in Game Freak that they've decided they're not going to do that with mainline games.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere. And so I feel like that's probably going to continue, at least while, what's his name is in charge of everything. Beyond that, it could be, anything goes. We could see that sometime in the future, but I don't think we need competitive to take off before they start making a shit ton of money off selling cosmetics to the casuals.
Like I could definitely see paid mystery events. Cherish Ball with Flutter Main has a little hat.
Yeah. 100%.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. Like Pokemon Go does it with their like fancy event. Like what the world's Pikachu's in a scuba outfit and people went fucking nuts for it. So
yeah, 100%. Like as soon as you make it like limited time.
Oh yeah, FOMO just makes money.
100%.
Missing out for those who don't know FOMO.
It's like some of the games I've been playing for years, and the skins that came out at the time, like people have told me how much money I can make from selling my accounts just because they've got those skins that people can't get anymore. Like 100%, I think it'd be a bit different with Pokemon because you could just kind of like, they could get hacked and traded and gemmed and stuff. But I mean, I think you're right. I think there's massive money to be made in like limited time Pokemon skins and cosmetics and stuff like that.
Like they could kind of do it with those mighty raids, right? For that title.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Like the marks isn't cosmetic though. I mean, it kind of is.
People will pay money for it.
Yeah,
if you could get like marks that you had to spend money for.
I would pay for this
cosmetic,
mark.
Though. I do.
Free for you, babe.
My $3
$3
back.
for the rest of us.
$3 a month.
No, like, yeah, I think that cosmetic kind of marking, quote unquote, is a fantastic idea. It's a huge merchandising opportunity as well.
I mean, like what the Sereni mystery gift thing, those are selling for crazy on
Wait, really?
Yeah, they are. You made a mistake.
I just gave mine away for free.
People do like
how much
Twitter giveaways.
How much are they
and-
selling for?
I don't know the exact number, but people doing like Twitter
Is this
giveaways to like boost their socials
Something
and shit
you
for
got
them.
from Worlds or
For going to the for Worlds. For Worlds.
I mean, there are like the Worlds packs themselves sell for like over $1,000, I think.
Yeah, I think like the competitive, like the whole competitors kit in aggregate sells for like $2K.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Or $8.50 beforehand for your flight.
Yes, we were talking about that last week. I don't know if you saw that. It was
Alberto.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because we were like,
it's tricky because like in one, like, okay, he's not forcing. I actually don't have a problem with it because he's not forcing anyone to like buy it, and he's not doing anything to like misinform people about the price. If he was like advertising it as like, great deal, I'm gonna buy your World's kit for $850, like
Retail
you'll never
only, like,
get this
200.
deal,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I would have a massive issue with it.
Yeah.
But like at the end
he
of
was
the day,
straightforward with his intentions.
he was
Said,
straightforward with his intentions.
You get this, I get this.
You can literally search up how much they're worth. It's one
Yeah.
Google search away.
Yeah.
You know?
He's assuming all the risk up front. Like
That's
he's
true.
paying
Yeah.
you for it.
Yeah.
These things only have value because people believe they have
Exactly,
value.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's fuck. You know this because you're in finance. What's it? Not like assumed worth, but like it's not the theoretical worth before you sell something.
They didn't teach you this in
Intrinsic
accounting?
value.
Intrinsic value. Yeah. No, they did. I don't know how many like barely passes I scraped. They taught me. I didn't learn it. But yeah, I mean that's basically everything. I had just one question that I promised the fans I'd ask. Kiran, do you have any sex advice?
Do I have any sex advice? I don't have any sex advice.
cool.
I wouldn't
No,
take sex advice from myself.
We only ask because on the paid content, which everyone should go check out, we're going to drop it very soon. $3 a month. Get amongst
$3
it.
a month.
On the most recent episode, we spent most of it just giving sex ed advice. Take it or not. Maybe you shouldn't.
A lot of it was very common sense, but you should still listen.
Yeah. $3 a month for the sex ed, but I'll give you this one for free. Use protection, kids. But
That was basically everything we said in the bonus.
Son of a bitch, you leaked it.
We spoke about condoms a lot. Yeah.
Sleeve your cards.
Okay. Well, that's about time to end it. Kiran, do you have any ending thoughts or any shout outs?
Shout out to... I don't know. I thought something would spring to mind, but no. Shout out to everyone in the Perth community for being so nice. That's my shout out.
Aw.
Jeez.
Thank you. Is that what you were going to say in your winner's interview?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say shout out to the O2 Drop podcast.
I don't know if you know anything about this.
It reminds me, I do have one more question.
We were wondering, this might be the
Yeah.
same question. Do you know if people before the interview get told not to spruik stuff? Because
I'm not sure.
people never shout out their YouTube
No,
channels or
they
stuff
don't.
like that. Like, it never happens. So I wonder if maybe they get told ahead of time not to do that kind of thing.
That
Don't
would
know if
make
you-
sense.
yeah.
That would make sense.
I did have a different question.
Go ahead.
Did the O2 Drop or the Perth community come up in any of your conversations with other Worlds competitors?
Actually, it did.
Really?
Yeah.
Nick Khan brought it up. He
Okay.
said, surprisingly funny. He watched the episode with Alistair.
yeah.
He was like, I didn't want to like it, but the Perth people are funny. I was like, yeah.
We're putting that in quotes on
the Twitter meme.
like I don't. So when you do comedy shows and whatnot,
Surprisingly funny, Nick Khan. Yeah.
when you do comedy shows for Fringe and whatnot, you make a poster with like your face on it looking goofy holding a microphone. You've got some vaguely clever name that you thought of for your show, and you'll have like a couple of reviews from like Fringe Feed and other magazines that came and reviewed, and you like take the clips that make you sound the best and put it on top of like the 3.5-star review that you received. I'm not speaking from personal experience. What are you talking about? But that's what we need to do is just, in quotes, surprisingly funny.
Yeah.
Just ironic testimonials all the way.
Yeah. I mean, the best review I ever received from a comedy show reviewer was a 20-something white man who's obsessed with his Uber rating. I was in a show. I was in a... Which is in response to one very... In response to one very specific joke that I had. But I was in a show with 4 other people. They all got paragraphs, and I just got that last. And it was a 5-star review, though. So I just put 5 stars on my poster, and I just stuck 20-something-year-old white guy obsessed with his Uber rating. Fringe feed, 5 stars.
Nice.
We can do 20% of our podcast members are blocked by Wolf Glick on Twitter.
So that didn't come up at all.
Yeah, it's just like
No.
in quotes, I don't know you, I don't want to know you. Wolf Glick 2024.
Please stop messaging me.
Why did you add me to this group chat? All right. Dan, do you have any last thoughts or shout outs?
Shout out Kieran, shout out Alistair, and shout out the people that helped them team build and practice. Much love the community, and you did us all proud, despite I know you're very upset. I'm upset for you.
I don't know. Kieran came on here. Was like, yeah, I was really happy with 5-3.
No,
It's
no.
like, we know you're upset, Kieran.
He's like, I want more. Those
No, I was not happy. No, I was not happy.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, you kind of have to say
cope.
you have to. You have to say you're happy, right? Otherwise, you kind of sound like a
Yes.
yeah. Like it's one of those things. It's in the same as like when someone asks how your day's going, you can't say anything other than good. Like,
Exactly.
No, you did really well. You did better
Yeah.
than anyone in this
Fuck yeah,
room,
man.
Yeah.
anyone else in Perth. So yeah, very well done.
well, like I said, we were all sitting in a room wondering out loud why you weren't making the wrong play. So you're obviously better than most Perth players.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think a balanced outlook is healthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of devils on the shoulder.
Yeah.
20 Perth-shaped devils. Yeah.
This is why he team builds with literally anyone else.
Ethan, do you have any last thoughts or shout outs?
That was it.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, my shout outs are to our fantastic listeners for tuning in once again. We're up to like 30-something episodes, and if you're still tuning in, thank you so much for bearing with us.
Thank you, Bradford. We love you.
Yeah, I want to say, you know, while I've got the host microphone for once, how much of just a fucking treat it is to record this each week with some of the most fabulous lads Pokemon have to offer.
Jesus.
And thank you for, I want to say, making it possible. We're getting no financial gain from our listeners, but thanks for tuning in and boosting our ego a little bit. We genuinely have such a sense of pride every time we see the listening numbers go up, even by just a little bit. So, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the person you're sitting across from at the next regional. Check out the O2 drop. And yeah, join us next week where we'll have more excellent Pokemon takes for you. Until next time.
Hey everybody, it is Joel from the O2 Drop here. I just wanted to jump in at the end of this episode and let you guys know that bonus content will be available from the 2nd of September. To be part of our bonus content nicknamed The Bottom Cut, you need to go to our Twitter and go to the link in our Twitter bio, which is to our Buzzsprout page. And follow the prompts to sign on for a monthly subscription to bonus content of the O2 Drop. Definitely let us know in socials if there's any particular type of content you want to see on there. We're going to mix it up. Right now it's all stories and pulls from our Pokemon competition, but we will be mixing it up with in-depth analysis of teams from big tournaments around the world throughout the year. And silly games that we all like to play. So yeah, if you want to be part of the Bottom Cut team, hit us up on Twitter, follow the link in our bio, and sign on. Thank you very much.